All right, it's 2 o'clock. Welcome to the Reliability and Security Oversight Update for August. My name is Maylee Cook, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here today. We have a few announcements to get us started. We'll begin with our Internal Compliance Program Self-Assessment. This is now available and was developed to help you strengthen your internal compliance program. So you can go ahead and download that from our website and follow it through to get a self-assessment of whether you have strong practices. Let's go on to our Reliability in the West. That will be held on September 3rd, and the topic is natural gas and electric interdependence, and we will drop the link to that meeting item on our calendar in the chat. Coming up, October 7th through the 10th, we have GridSecCon. Go ahead and use that QR code on your screen to access the registration information. That will be open through September 23rd. And that will be hosted by NERC, EISAC, and WECC, and we're pleased to have you join us in Las Vegas for that. The following week, we have our Reliability and Security Workshop, which will be in San Diego on October 14th and 15th, and the WECC Compliance Forum meeting will be on the 16th, so that is also happening that week. We will have the registration link dropped into the chat for you. We'd love to have you there. You also can attend this workshop virtually. In November, we will have GridX, which is hosted every 2 years by EISAC, and that will happen November 18th and 19th. There is information at that link there for registering. And then on the next slide, they have some new participant options that they wanted you to be aware of. So we've got the standard scenario, the GridX in a box, as well as the tabletop scenario. So those are options available to you. And finally, we also wanted to remind you of WECC's annual member and board of directors meetings that are happening on September 17th and 18th here at our office in Salt Lake City, as well as virtually. And we will drop the registration link in there for you as well. Moving on to our antitrust policy. All WECC meetings are conducted in accordance with the WECC antitrust policy and the NERC antitrust compliance guidelines. All participants must comply with the policy and guidelines. This meeting is public. Confidential or proprietary information should not be discussed in open session. This webinar is being recorded and will be posted publicly. By participating, you give your consent for your name, voice, image, and likeness to be included in that recording. WECC strives to ensure the information presented today is accurate and reflects the views of WECC. However, all interpretations and positions are subject to change. If you have any questions, please contact WECC's legal counsel. We encourage your participation in this call. Feel free to send questions and concerns through the chat feature. You can send that to WECC meetings. Also, use the raise hand feature and we will call on you to share. We have a nice agenda for you today. Go ahead and let that sit on the screen for a moment, and then we will turn the time over to Fahad for our NERC and WECC happenings.
Thank you, Maylee. Good afternoon, everyone. I will be going over some of the significant NERC and WECC items that has recently been published or occurred. I'm Senior Technical Advisor in the Oversight Planning Group. Next slide. All right, so the first item on the list today is the white paper published by the Large Loads Task Force. This white paper elaborates on the risk identification portion of their deliverable. They also have a planned second white paper that will focus on gaps in industry practices, reliability standards, and unmitigated risks to the BPS. This white paper, the number one that has been published, the summary document, and the webinar recording are now available on the NERC website. The second item, NERC webinar for registration process for Category 2 generator owner and generator operator IBRs that has also been posted online by NERC. The other item is the 2025 ERO Reliability Risk Priorities Report. which is again posted by NERC. This has already been approved by the RISC and accepted by the NERC Board of Trustees. This report's primary objectives are to identify key risks to the BPS that merit attention and to recommend mitigating actions that align with those risks. We utilize this report quite heavily to inform our CMEP implementation plan and in various other activities. The recordings for the NERC Modernization of Standards, Processes, and Procedures Task Force Q&A sessions, all three of those recordings have been posted. These Q&A sessions were held to provide context to facilitate stakeholders' responses to the white paper. And this is a great opportunity for the stakeholders to participate and provide their feedback. The task force has invited the stakeholders to provide their feedback on the white paper via questionnaire. The link for the survey will be in the chat feature. The responses for this survey is due by August 27. Next is grid fundamentals. And as the name suggests, WECC conducted an in-person course about the workings of the electric power system, its management, the technology, operations, environmental issues, and regulations affecting the system. This course will be conducted again, although virtually, on November 4 and 5. And lastly, level 3 alert. Now, the responses to the level 3 alert for IBR performance in modeling were due on Monday, the last Monday, August 18. If there are any entities that has missed the deadline, they will receive a reminder from NERC. WECC will be aware of any non-responders within its footprint and will likely perform a follow-up with any best practices or responses that are concerning, or in cases where more information is needed. That is it from my end. Thank you, Melly.
Thank you so much, Fahad. We'll move on to our cold weather update from Curtis Cruz.
Well, it is going to be a pretty good update. Thank you, Bailey. This is Curtis Cruz, Senior Technical Advisor. I just 5 minutes before this meeting finished an SGAS 101 session. That's what's happening this week. We had a small group advisory session on Monday. The posting of that shouldn't take too terribly long to get that document out there. We'll certainly give that to Bailey to circulate when it does get posted. We do have several SGAS 101 sessions this week, and we're helping other regions. Other regions are joining us, of course, as a team. We haven't heard anything spectacular so far in terms of questions asked. The biggest one, of course, is when is it going to be enforceable for EOP 12-3? And the easiest answer is we don't know. FERC has not addressed it as of yet, and of course they don't have their September meeting agenda out there, I don't believe, at this point. So we're going to continue to work with folks as needed. If you have any questions about EOP 12-2 or -3, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Internally, we have the assurance program in full swing. We're working with some entities right now. We've probably dealt with about 25 entities. I believe we've sent out some RFIs. We're evaluating some of their responses, and we'll be setting up some one-on-ones and some site visits for later on this year. So we're looking forward to that. We're also collaborating with the ERO enterprise on best practices that we've seen across all the 6 regions. Don't have a deadline or a timeline necessary for a document, but certainly working on that right now. But I think that's the update as of today. Certainly appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Curtis. We'll go on to our standards update from Donovan.
All right, thanks, Maylee. Yep, this is Donovan Crane, Senior Engineer here in our Standards Department. We've got a pretty quick update on this. There's a lot that's gearing up, ready to happen here at the end of the year, but we'll touch on some ways to get involved in current projects and some goings on. So we'll go to the next slide. So we'll start with some NERC standards happenings. The Order 901 related projects right now, there's 3 of those out that are out for ballot and comment. This is their second ballot and comment period. Those will be out through September 10th. So they're out for comment right now, and then the ballot period will open up in a little bit, but that'll be open through September 10th. So get out there, get the comments to that project. This is coming pretty close to the deadline. They're going to have something ready to go for FERC to hit their deadline to have this ready and be able to be submitted. So please read through those. Please look at the new drafts that are out there, the red lines that they've made. Submit the comments, and we'll see what comes out of this and how far we can get on getting support for that. Fahad had already mentioned the Modernization of Standards Process and Procedures Task Force. Mentioned they've been out doing the webinars. They've been going through a lot of industry outreach, and they're currently in that looking for feedback on the white paper period. This is a great opportunity to get involved with this and have your comments be heard. The comments that they're looking for right now on that white paper, they've given several ideas, potential directions that they'd like to take it, and have some suggestions to be able to present to the NERC board. But they're very, very heavily dependent on the responses that they're going to get to these. They're looking for that industry response that will help guide their choices on what decisions they'll pursue, what directions they want to go. So this is a great opportunity to get in there, read that paper, look through the suggestions that they've given, and then give your feedback on that. What sounds like it could work? What sounds like a good step forward? What may sound like a good idea on paper, but maybe isn't feasible? That's going to be your perspectives. You're going to be able to give that because the industry is what's going to be giving those ideas, and that's what they're looking for. So please give comments on this. Those are the 2 big things right now happening with NERC standards. There's projects being worked on right now. There are drafting teams meeting, but these are some big touch points that I wanted to make sure that are out there for this update. We'll move on to WECC happenings. If we'll go to the next slide. So we have, this was mentioned previously, the WECC 157 PRC 65 standard. It's the under frequency load shedding standard, and it's an update to that WECC regional variance inside of that. The drafting team, the slate has been put together. It will be presented to the WECC Standards Committee tomorrow at their meeting, and then they will be able to seat that team, approve the drafting slate, and the drafting team will be able to start getting to work on that project. So we're waiting for that. It's being presented to the WOC tomorrow for the drafting team, and then the approval to start drafting and getting on this project. The WECC 142 project, the request to retire BAL 2 WECC 3, that is currently sitting with NERC. It will go out for a 45-day comment period in September. That is what we've been informed, that they're waiting till September to put that out. And I believe that has a lot to do with the 901 projects that are going out right now. They don't want to have too much overlap. They do want to make sure that those projects are getting the comment and the attention of the ballot that they need. So this will go out for a 45-day NERC comment period. I have in their parentheses, it is process related. This isn't another bite at the apple. This is making sure that the process was done properly. It's a formal comment period to make sure that everything was done the right way before a FERC filing is put together. I'd mentioned the WECC Standards Committee. They will be meeting tomorrow, Friday, August 22nd. There's a couple of approval items that they'll be doing. They'll be accepting that draft team slate. It'll be put in front of them. There will also be a couple of SARs for 5-year reviews that will be put before them, and then a drafting team will need to be solicited after that. These 5-year reviews, it's an IRO standard and an IRO variance. There's nothing that's been identified as an issue with them right now, but the WECC standards development procedures require a 5-year review of all of our standards, criteria, and variances to standards. So this is what they're going to be looking at for the end of this year, is getting those on the docket. With that, that's the pretty short update on what's going on. There will be projects coming down Starting the end of this year, we will be seeing a few more things come down the pipeline, but we're kind of gearing up for those to come. But these are the big points that we wanted to touch and make sure that's updated with. And I believe that is all I have for the standards updates, Maylene.
Thank you so much, Donovan. Let's turn the time over to Abby.
There's the mute button. Thanks so much, Maylee. If y'all can y'all hear me okay?
I think you cut out for a second, but I heard you just then.
Great, thanks so much. Yeah, if you could go to the next slide, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, well, good afternoon again, everybody. Just a quick update from the registration department for today. We've started reaching out to our entities this month to enter in their Category 2 registration request. As we previously discussed, we're contacting our entities in small batches each month and plan to complete registering all of our Category 2 entities by the end of the first quarter of 2026. For each monthly batch, we will send registration determination letters to the specific entities. And it's going to state within that registration determination letter if you do or do not meet the registration criteria. If the facilities are determined to be Category 2, your notice will include instructions on how to move forward, submitting your application in cores. So as shown on this screen, you will either enter an activation for an existing entity or a brand new application if you're going to have a separate registration. And in the email, the determination notice, we will include information as far as letting you know that we are here to support you, and we will walk you through the process if you prefer to set up a meeting instead of just putting the application in on your own. So please feel free to click on those links to kind of walk you through the process. And then next slide. And here's our contact information if you have any questions. So like I said, this is just a real short where we are in the process. Any questions?
Thank you, Abby. We did just get a question come into the chat. It says, if your entity does not have any Cat 1 or Cat 2 IBRs, does WECC recommend that these entities submit align attestations to document the non-applicability of the new PRC 28, PRC 29, and PRC 30 standards?
Ooh, I'm not sure I'm the appropriate person for this question.
We can take that offline if we need to. We'll document that question and get back to you.
That is a good question. Let's do that.
Great. Thanks so much, Abby. Okay, let's turn the time over now to Scott Brooksby and Mark Willis to talk about our risk register.
Great, thank you. I'm going to start sharing my screen here. So I'll take the ball. All right, can you see my screen, Maylee?
Yes, we can see it.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so this is going to be probably net new for some of you, but we'll give an update for those that's not. We're here to talk about the risk register, the risk management process here at WECC. But first off, I want to kind of help you navigate to where you'll find it so that we can kind of just talk through it here. I want to teach you how to fish as opposed to giving you a fish. So if you go to WECC.org, the easiest way, there's like 3 ways to get there, but the easiest way is to just use the toolbox here at the top. And if you look at the toolbox, it brings up a set of kind of overall topics, and we're the last in line here. So if you look down here, you'll see this Western Interconnection Risk Management Program. If you click into that, here you're going to find all the publicly available information that we have on this program. And namely the public WECC risk register, which I'll click into in a minute. But for those who have been following along with us, we are hopefully soon to be publishing an updated version of our risk management process. This version right here that you'll see publicly right now is from 2023. We've been working for a lot of 2025, pretty much all 2025, to work on an updated version. We're real close. As a matter of fact, I was hoping last Tuesday we might publish it, but we're real close. So stay tuned. Look for more information coming soon on the updated program or process. Once we've got this in approval and published out, we are going to do some revamping on the risk register itself or re-ranking the risks that are on there. But as it stands today, this is an exportable version. We do a copy into Excel so that you can intake this. This is the risks as we see them currently within the Western interconnection. These are ranked both by WECC scoring and the Reliability Risk Committee. Also, we have them go through their evaluation and their scoring. You kind of see some overlap, and you also see kind of some different weighting, right? Because there's different views. We WECC kind of look at this from the raw inherent perspective from these risks. The RRC, the Reliability Risk Committee, takes more into account more of the controls, the velocity, the timing. There's a little bit more nuanced, so their ranking comes out a little bit different. And then you see in here that we've got some of these flagged for risk mitigation or risk reduction, which leads me to also another thing that we're working on here at WECC. I don't know how soon we'll be publishing something publicly, but we're working on getting better at tracking treatment plans or risk mitigation plans. So we're working on a tool that's going to help us to understand, okay, who's doing what here. And so right now we're working on kind of the treatment plans that are being done here at WECC. We'll eventually, I think, work to extend that to either various other groups, whether it's being done, at the NERC level, where it's being done in entity. But, just pick any risk. Let's take the top one here, generation resource mix. If it turns out that we can determine that there's 5 different treatment plans going on out there by various groups, we want to collect those and track those, because if that risk is actually being managed or reduced over time, let's keep an eye on that effort so that we can say that the needle is, shall we say, is moving in a positive direction as opposed to a negative direction. So again, that's kind of some of the improvements that will be going on through 2026, 2027 in the treatment phase, while we also reassess the risks in their inherent score. But as it stands now, this information's out there for you, publicly available. As I said, you can download this, use it within your own. We know several entities have taken copies of the WECC risk register and used it within their own organizations just to against their own risk register, the risk management program. And by the way, this is all kind of based on the ISO 31000 model, so we're using an international standard. We didn't make this up on our own. We're trying to make sure we adhere to general good practice when it comes to our risk management program. But like I say, improvements are coming. It's not perfect. We're excited about some of the changes that are coming, and we'll always work to keep improving it. So with that, I'm going to pause there. Any questions come in, Maylee? If not,
at this time.
I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you so much for that update. We appreciate you all bringing your material today and presenting for us. I'm not seeing any questions for any of our presenters at this time, so I'll just remind you that the next session of this webinar will be September 18th from 2 to 3 p.m. Mountain. We appreciate all of your time today. Have a good one. Oh, Scott, if you have a second, we did just get a question for you.
Absolutely.
It says, how will the risk register be coordinated and reconciled with the NERC risk ranking draft process?
Oh, Awesome. I'm glad you said that because we are actually working with NERC. We WECC are on the group that's helping to redefine the NERC's risk management program, and we're actually using our risk management programs. This new version I told you about that I'm excited about. We use that to seed the really the first draft of the new NERC risk management program. And we're meeting with them pretty much weekly. Actually, it's across the ERO to see what we can do to align these processes. Now, part of the questions we've had is, are we all going to use the same risk register? Are we going to maintain our own? There's all those questions that still have to be answered. We WECC have a tool. Some of the other regions have their own tools. NERC has yet to even decide kind of where it's going to go. Timing is that they're working to get their version approved by the end of the year for a 2026 launch on the program. So there is coordination, there is reconciliation, as it were, and we're staying close to it. And hopefully, since WECC has the first bite at the apple, it's going to be shaped largely on the WECC process, which, as I said, is ISO based anyway. So we've been kind of really promoting that. So look for more to come. We are hoping to drive alignment because I know nothing frustrates entities more than WECC doing something different than RF, than doing something different than TRE, than doing something different than NERC. We're all trying to get on the same hymn book, as it were. So thank you. I appreciate you bringing that up. I'm glad that people are paying attention to that too, that there is that effort going on. Any others?
I do not see any other questions. We got that one in by a hair, but we're glad that we were able to answer
Yes.
that for you. All right, then. I think this is the end. We will see you next month, September 18th. Have a great one, everyone.